everybody, in today's video I'm going to be doing my everyday winter makeup. There's nothing that's too different from normal, although I am using some slightly different products which I thought would be nice to share with you, and also I've been really loving a more pinky nude lip. So that's the slight adjustment. Also, I do think in winter it's nice to try and get more of a dewy, healthy, lit from within look, which usually skin doesn't tend to have during the winter months. So that's also what I'm adding into this makeup look. Naturally, I've got a cold sore as I'm filming this, because when do I ever not have a cold sore when I want to film a makeup video? Putting on a little bit of lip balm to start with, so that by the time it comes to me doing my lips, they're not so chapped. First thing I've done is washed my skin. I've then used the La Roche-Posay Effaclar Duo and the Glossier Rich Moisturiser on top. Because it's winter, you're going from cold to warm in quite extreme temperatures, so that does tend to usually take its toll on my skin. So a rich moisturiser is usually the way to go. Tie my hair up, get that out the way. I now look like Bam Bam. Just need a little bone in my hair. Primer. I am using the Clarins SOS Primer Boost Radiance. I don't often use primers, but something that's going to boost my radiance at this time of year is something that I am interested in. Okay, foundation wise, I have been using the Fenty Beauty and my Bare Minerals foundation, kind of on and off, or sometimes together, but more recently I have ventured back to my trusty NARS Sheer Glow in the shade Mont Blanc, just because I love this foundation, and although I go through phases where I really like other foundations, this is the one I always come back to, and you can never go wrong with this, to be honest, in my opinion. In terms of a foundation brush, I don't know which brush to use. I might use this one. This is the Real Techniques brush. Well, there was me thinking I'm so super pale, so this foundation will completely match. I actually think my skin is not this pale right now. I do think I'm probably one shade darker than this in reality, but I feel like it's better to bronze up than to start too dark. I've got all the songs from The Greatest Showman stuck in my head on repeat. Okay, base done. Face base done. I've actually been loving and using and loving the Kylie Jenner skin concealers. This shade is in the colour Bone, which is a slightly pinkier tone, so it goes really nicely under the eyes, but also is quite a good match for my skin. So I'm just slapping it on like tribal paint. Not how you do concealer, typically. I'm going to use this Bare Minerals brush to blend that. I do love me a liquid concealer. I always think stick ones look so great, and they offer really great coverage as well, but I just can't get on with a stick concealer. I just find them very drying. What are your thoughts? Let me know. I'm going to put a tiny bit of the Collection Lasting Perfection right in the corners of my eyes. I'm addicted to this stuff. I can't not use it. It's so weird. I feel like until I put this on, even if I have my foundation done and other concealers on, I just don't feel like it's, I don't know, I just don't feel like my eyes are as bright as they could look as they do when I have this on. Speaking of Collection Lasting Perfection, I actually believe they're getting more shades of this, which is great. Very great. Now that I've done all the liquid, I do like to do a little bit of the Bare Minerals on top as a bit of a setting powder. It is technically a foundation, and in summer I actually wore this just on top of concealer, which I really enjoyed, but I prefer to kind of set it a little bit with a tiny bit of this. I'm going to use this beautiful Spectrum brush to blend it in. I also just find it just gives a really nice finish. There we go, all done. Next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of bronzer. I am using this Marc Jacobs bronzer in Tantastic in 104. Now I'm going to use this lightly because I think this is probably for summer when you actually have a tan, because it is quite dark, but I really like it. I like that it has like a bit of warmth to it, so it feels a bit more natural and it's matte. And the brush I'm using for this is a Kylie Jenner brush in number 3. I've also been using those. Here they are in my little brush holder. I really, really like them. A couple of them do shed a little bit at first, but I found that the more I've used them, the less it's done that. So take a little bit down the neck, because if you're going to tan your face, you have to remember that this is also visible. And mine is twice as long as the average neck, I'm sure. So I feel like I'm having to put more on. I don't know if it's possible for someone's neck to like grow more, but I do feel like the older I'm getting, the longer my neck is. Oh gosh. Done. Okay, happy with that. For my blusher, I am going to use this. This is the Bobbi Brown highlighting powder in Opal Glow. It is beautiful. I love it. And I'm going to use this little brush. It's the Kylie Jenner number 8, which I have found is like the perfect size to get like the apples of your cheeks or to do highlight on your cheekbones. Oh, love that. You guys know how much I love a pinky highlight. I actually think it's like my favourite kind of highlight because it gives a very like healthy look because it has that touch of pink in it. Take a little bit down the nose and pop like the remnants on your forehead. It's so pretty. Love that. Okay, finished with that. I'm now going to move on to eyes and eyebrows. I'm going to start with a primer. If I'm in a rush, I don't tend to do this, but if I have a little bit more time, then I will, because it does make a little bit more of a difference on how long your eyeshadow lasts, but also like the quality of the eyeshadow always looks much better if you use a base. Also, if you get oily eyelids, I'm afraid it's a must. Or if you've used quite a lot of product, like obviously I put concealer around my eyes, but not everybody does that. If you're blessed with beautiful under eyes, you don't always have to put concealer on your eyes, or if you don't have very blue eyelids, you don't have to either, but I was not blessed with non-blue eyelids. So using something to like neutralize that, but also kind of become like a bit of a glue for your eyeshadow is always much better. I'm going to zoom you in a bit now because we're going to be all up here. I have 3 products here that I'm going to use for my eyebrows. One is the Makeup Forever Aqua Brow. Again, a product that I always kind of flit in and out of using. The Spectrum A17 brush, which is just a angled brush, which is perfect for eyebrows. And then the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. Don't go anywhere without this. Especially because I'm growing my brows, they can become quite unruly. So I put a little dollop of the gel on the back of my hand, and then I just dip my brush in it and kind of tap it on. It's the closest I've come to painting since sixth form, actually. I kind of like it. It's like painting in your brows. Right. I don't know if you can see, but I have a few bits here that just won't grow. I'm trying really hard, but I do have a couple of gaps. This one is much better. This one is far more gappy. So I really just use it to fill in any gaps and give it a bit more shape. That already looks a lot better. This is my favourite brow to fill in. I feel like there's always a favourite brow. This one is my best brow, but this is my best side, so that's annoying, isn't it? Oh, excuse you. I'm happy with them. They're quite bold. You don't have to make them this bold if you don't want to. I generally do, but then when I comb them through with this, it doesn't look so stark. I am going to be using this. This is the Colourpop All I See Is Magic Shadow Palette. I've already got it dirty. I'm very sad about that. It's cardboard, so unless you're very clean and careful with your makeup, which I am sometimes, then that might not happen, but sadly it has happened. This has some really beautiful colours in it. I am going to be using this very light peach and these very light colours here. I'm going to make the eye very subtle. I'm going to start with this very light kind of peachy nude, and I'm going to just pop that all over my eyelid. I literally just like whack this on if I'm in a rush. Okay, that is all over the eyelid. Now I am going to take this like very pretty peachy colour, which has a tiny bit of shimmer on it, which I quite like, and I'm just gonna, again, just go all in. I'm gonna use this little Spectrum brush. This is the A12. And I'm going to use that same like peachy colour and just go a little bit under the eye, just to tie it in a bit. The eye is very subtle, like this is quite subtle for me. Normally I'm like all about the dark in the outer corner and under the eye, but I quite like that this is a bit more simple. Okay, that's pretty much all I want to do to my eyes. I am going to put a bit of brown liquid liner on. It's still a very dark brown, so I think unless you're looking very closely at someone's eye, you probably wouldn't notice, but I quite like using brown as an eyeliner colour. I think black is a very like popular go-to shade, but you should consider a dark brown because I think it just looks a little more subtle. I don't know, I like the dark brown at the mo. Boom. I got so caught up in telling you about brown eyeliner, I didn't say the one I'm using. It's the Jouer Kitten Liner, paraben free and long wear. It's now time for mascara, and it might be no surprise to you that I am using the Smith & Colt Lash Dance Mascara. Oh my god, my eye is twitching. Oh my god. Do you ever get a twitchy eye and then you go to someone, look how much my eye's twitching, and then it stops? Honestly, it's twitching so much, I bet you can't see it. Probably not. There we go. Lips. Yes, so I have two options for a pinky nude. I've got my trusty Rimmel Kate Moss in 38, and then I have this one, which is a newer addition to my lipstick collection, and it is the Marc Jacobs Sonic Truth. And I think this is the first tutorial for a while where I've not used a liquid lipstick. I know. I might go for the Marc Jacobs actually. They're very similar in colour, but that is so lovely and creamy. I love it. And that is essentially everything I've been doing over the past couple of weeks, really. I've just really enjoyed focusing a bit more on making my skin look more alive and a bit more dewy and a bit more healthy, and things like the primer and the foundation you use and the highlight and blush actually make a lot of difference. And then I've kept my eyes pretty basic, just like a little tiny wash of colour, and then the eyeliner and the mascara kind of does more of the talking, and then a very kind of more pretty subdued pinky nude lip. I really hope you guys enjoyed this makeup look. Be sure to let me know what kind of things you are loving wearing or doing to your skin this time of year that kind of keeps it looking a little bit more fresh. If you haven't yet subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell button if you would like to be notified every time I upload a video, and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I need to go and wash this off my hand. Some days I forget to do this and I just look grubby. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.